Here we go. Welcome to TikToff Conservatives. I am Boomer Justin alongside my cohort in crime, Conservative Ant. What's going on?
What's going on?
We have a special guest today. So usually we have other conservative TikTok content creators on the show for our special guests. But today we have an uber super special guest. Anthony, would you like to introduce our guest today?
Yeah, so we have Matt. He is a TikTok creator as well. However, he is not on, as they would say, our side of TikTok. And him and I had a little, we didn't see eye to eye on some of our thoughts, but we learned an important lesson, or I learned an important lesson, I think Matt did as well, is social media and the media itself, we already know is toxic. And it pegged two people against each other just because they disagreed on something. But if it wasn't for us to communicate as two grown-ups and then form a relationship and realize that we actually did have a lot of things in common, we would never be here right now. So, Matt, thank you for coming on the show. I really appreciate you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate being here.
Good. And don't worry. I just want to let you know, we have enough America and Trump stuff to fill a small fucking village. I mean, I
was right. I was telling you, if I had a MAGA hat, I would be wearing it right now.
I'm just glad that you pronounce it MAGA and you don't say MAGA.
What is up with that?
People say MAGA, and I'm like, it drives me nuts.
Is it like some type of like MAGA? Like, what makes it? Is it supposed to annoy you? Well, it obviously annoys some people.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the thinking behind that one. I really don't.
Okay, well, he says MAGA. So, Justin, next.
So I just want to get all right. So this all originally happened, right? Because I had a video out with the whole Trump miss thing, right? So and now Trump miss. So you know what that was, Matt? There were a bunch of other. I don't know if did Anthony already explain that to you?
Well, wait, hold on, Justin. I just want to say something real quick about Trump.
Yeah.
The reason why there's something called the Trump miss is because Biden people are too busy in their basement with their masks on, so they won't have a person.
Wait. Is that because he won the war on Christmas? That big long battle?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's commemorating that.
No, it's a bunch of Trump supporters that got together for Trump. A lot of people call it a cult. I like to call it Trumpness. I don't know.
Dude, so you already missed, by the way, you're late to the game because we already had Trumpsgiving. We had Trumpsgiving before, and then we had Trumpmas.
That was juicy, man.
Was there a war on that too?
There was also Hollow Trump. You know, pretty much any
the
like
thing is we didn't have to color anything because the pumpkins were already just as orange as.
I seriously don't necessarily agree with you attacking my skin color. It's a color I can't help it. Hugely important that you don't talk about my skin color.
Cheeto man. Anyway, so Trumpness was a bunch of us bigger account creators on the conservative side of TikTok. And we had a big Zoom call on live, and it was awesome because we were chatting, talking, debating. It was fun.
We connect our followers together and our cult members together. That we meet on, like I said on your video, we meet on Wednesdays and Fridays. Okay. Yeah.
You weren't kidding.
No, we meet on Wednesdays and Fridays.
No.
Our look. This is our chalice. We all have our own chalice.
Right.
Inside of the chalice.
Because I'm a gay one. I have to have this one because I'm the gay one.
On Holy Friday, okay. we fill this with liberal tears, bro. It's liberal tears inside of here. That's where we summon our strength, you see. And we read, our Bible is the Constitution.
Seriously, hang on a second. Are you being serious about that you actually do meet on Wednesdays and Fridays? Or
yes.
That was a joke? Okay.
He doesn't. I do.
Matt.
Dude, we have the sacred. Listen,
cannot-
the sacred tea, bro.
You cannot give
The
Matt fuel. He really is going to think that we do that.
So listen, on Sundays I'm a Catholic, but like on Wednesdays and Fridays I am a Trump. Like that's my sign.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. No, there's no such thing as the Trump cult. Like there's not. And the reason why this really comes about is because we embrace the insult, and it's like, okay, they want to say we're in a cult. Let's let them think we're in a cult. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like,
let's just say that it's not only. Well, Matt, go ahead. I'll let you respond to that.
Let's say, obviously, Anthony, Justin, are in a cult, right? If you were in a cult, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Right.
But I do honestly believe that there is a cult of Trump. I do believe that. I believe that I may have I may have assumed some things that I shouldn't have assumed.
like my gender. How dare
Listen,
you?
I'll about that, right? I'm going to own that. I'll be personally responsible for that. But I do believe that there is, and I believe it centers around QAnon.
Okay, interesting. Justin, do you want to talk about QAnon?
Yeah.
I'm going to say something real quick about QAnon. I really never got down that rabbit hole much.
Right.
I get it. I've read it. I've understood it. I mean, Justin, are we talking about Fall of the Cabal and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting. I think that it definitely, there's other things that we don't know about out there, possibly. I would take it all with a grain of salt, though. I mean, it's conspiracy. And Justin will argue with me as well on the conspiracy thing.
Well, okay. Well, here's the thing. I don't, when I hear the word conspiracy, I think of thought. Okay. I think conspiracy is a quick label to make people look crazy. Okay. When you think about something, even if 1%, even if 0.5% of the whole QAnon conspiracy is true, isn't that incredibly awful? Right. So,
it's absolutely. I mean, drinking kids' blood. I mean, that's disgusting.
But I mean, this bleeds into Chupacabra and the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot. So where do we draw the line when we just call something a conspiracy and just get rid of it? Bigfoot's real, right? Bigfoot's real, right?
Real.
I mean, only like in like 580p or like grainy.
And I'm going to get to Matt because I know that he's like dying to say something about this. I just want to say this is going off of that thought, going off of that logic there. So you could, I mean, is the Loch Ness Monster real? Probably not. I mean, I don't know. Is Bigfoot real? I don't know. So
they are.
Is QAnon real? I don't know.
Is.
Matt.
So QAnon is real, absolutely. Like people are there; they're just there. Now, here's what I've learned about conspiracy, having spent some time myself, maybe a decade ago, down the conspiracy rabbit hole. Is if we're talking about like thousands or hundreds of thousands of people that all have to keep a same secret, there's no way in hell that's happening. So if a conspiracy involves more than a handful of people, there's no way that it's actually happening. There's no way that it wouldn't actually come to light.
Well, I think that I would disagree with that in the sense of I think that there's things that are hidden for. I wouldn't necessarily to say for our protection as like in a good reason, but for instance, if we want to go based off of aliens and UFOs, right? Look at how people act right now with just basic shit. If you told somebody that there was an underground bunker with a fucking entire civilization of aliens, this place would go fucking nuts. So the protection of that alone would be so important that they would make sure it didn't leak. And if it did leak, they'd probably kill you.
Anthony, if you told a secret to 5 people that you know,
somebody's going
to just 5. Just 5. Tell me that you feel confident that 5 of those people, that all 5 are going to hold that secret.
No, probably not. Probably.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I get like with the conspiracy stuff. I get a little bit Yeah.
And I think but see, I don't think that's a necessary. I don't think that's a Biden or a Trump thing. I don't think it's a right or left thing.
Well, with QAnon, it has become a right thing.
Because the
I'm
media
not saying,
has made it become that way.
Because what?
I think the media has made it seem that it's become that way.
Maybe. I mean, show me the QAnon equivalent on the left.
Justin?
Like QAnon equivalent of the left?
Yes.
As far as, well, I mean, we're not drinking the blood of babies and stuff, so I don't know, like, if there is, I don't know if there is like an equivalent to the like.
Whoa. Justin, are you
saying is the left doesn't have a conspiracy thought? Like they don't have anything that they believe in that's a conspiracy?
It's not coordinated, is what I would say.
But
I'm not saying it's not out there. I'm saying it's not coordinated.
But we're not really coordinated though, because like, okay, all right, okay, got you. So this is also going hand in hand with the fact that the Simpsons has predicted everything that's happened. Is that kind of going along with the same QAnon thing? I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you guys.
It is kind of strange, right?
But I really don't follow the QAnon. I'm sorry. I've watched.
Right. I don't either.
But I've watched Follow the Cabal, and if that's truly, if even 1% of that is true, I'm fucking appalled.
Have you watched it, Matt?
I have not.
I watched it because he's. But see, Matt won't watch it.
I think he's curious enough to watch it.
I would watch it. Absolutely, I would watch it.
Okay, I would encourage you to watch it because I was skeptical.
There's
made a lot of things, a lot of dots were connected.
There's certain things at the very, like towards the very end, that were a little, okay, well, I mean, she did go into like time travel and stuff, and that was like at the very, very end. So like there are certain, but I just think that there are certain elements, there are certain connections and certain groups of people that we didn't necessarily know were connected and what they did and what their job was or who they were related to. I think you'd find it really interesting. I think that you should watch it. Yeah,
and I definitely. What platform is it on?
So, well, you might be able to find it on YouTube.
It used to be on YouTube.
You can definitely find it on BitChute.
So, is this one of those things that the Illuminati has scrubbed from the internet?
Yeah. So here's the thing. So let me say this. Let me just say this, right? So do you think that in the vastness of this universe, that alien life could exist?
I think it would be irrational to believe that it doesn't exist.
Correct. I believe so.
So why are we so quick to throw out something like the Illuminati? If alien life form.
Because Justin, how many people are involved in the Illuminati?
Exactly. We don't know.
The entire.
No, but I'm saying it would be more than a handful, right?
Why are there so many satanic references in rap songs and other types of music that have no place in it? They're not even singing about those things, but they're doing all these things in reference to satanic ritualistic stuff.
But so Justin, I agree with you on that. Matt is going to say that it's just a coincidence. I'm sure.
I'm going to say I don't know specifically what you're talking about.
So this is one of them.
Which rap songs? Which
another one?
There's lots of references. If you watch Follow the Cabal, you'll see some of them. And I'll get with you after and send you some of these other videos that point out the different rap songs and just music and pop culture. And you see it, and it's like, here's the thing. You don't necessarily notice it until you're kind of like your eyes are open to it a little bit and you say, okay, that is strange. Now, do I believe that all of it's true? Maybe not, but some of it could be.
Yes.
Okay. So if aliens exist, then some of this could exist too.
So I don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole, but I do want to say this. So is the part of the cult thought QAnon, is that who we think is part of a cult, or
are you asking me? Yes, I'm saying it's that kind of thinking. Yes, that would lead.
Okay.
That would lead somebody there. The conspiratorial thinking. It would also involve Yeah, I mean, listen, here's what I will say, and what I wasn't clear enough about and haven't been clear enough about on TikTok is that do I think the majority of people who support Trump are in a cult? No, I don't believe that. And if I've given that that impression, I was wrong to do that.
Okay, that's fair. And here and you know, Matt and I spoke off cam about stuff too. And by the way, I think that Matt is an awesome dude. Like I said, if he was my neighbor, I'd probably invite him over and bust his balls for support. But I think the simple fact that you can have this conversation in a laughing and just is good, right? So with that being said, would you agree that there's off of the Trump side, so coming off of the right, that there would be cult ideology in all forms of groups, or
in all forms of politics, for sure.
Okay, all right. Well,
yeah, I think politics is often used by a narcissistic person that wants to gain control over people.
Referencing Trump in that.
No, I'm not just. Hang on.
You wanted leaders to say it. I could feel it.
Hang on. Listen, I will tell you, absolutely. There is, and I don't think you could prove me wrong that Trump is not a narcissist, but that's not what I meant. I mean, I think it is used by people with that sort of authoritarian, narcissistic mentality. Politics is used to absolutely create that kind of devotion.
Yeah,
so let me ask this
real quick. I think that Hillary Clinton is a narcissist, and I think Obama was a narcissist too. I think that they all want to hear themselves speak.
Yeah, but to speak to narcissism, I think that we all, as human beings, are narcissistic in nature. Maybe not to an extreme, but like
right. So just
if you fix your hair on the way out to look good, if you look at yourself in the mirror, isn't that like a form of narcissism?
Yeah.
So it's not a form of a psychopathology of narcissism, right? But it is a form of it would be a piece of narcissism. Right. We're talking about, in order to have an actual disorder of narcissism, you would have to hit a certain number out of a certain criteria, and we can go through those if you want to, but we don't have to.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Justin, you're holding back though.
Who, me?
Who?
Justin.
Of course he is.
I'm still offended that you would assume I'm a dude. You called me a MAGA dude. Now, here's what I want to ask. I want to ask, how hard is it to live by all of the rules that the liberal left puts in place for you? How do you? It's like an undefined set of rules put in place so that you are. So I don't think it's even so that it's so that we are tripped up on the conservative side. It doesn't matter what we do. We are offending someone. We are making fun of someone. We are in the wrong no matter what. And it's us that has to change for some reason. It's not other. And then you're probably finding it hard. You're like, wait a minute. I'm still trying to catch up on the pronoun thing, on the 67, 70 genders. I don't like, where does it end?
Well, Gen Z has a lot to do with that, but go ahead, Matt.
Well, so here's why I don't find it hard. The reason why I don't find it hard is because I'm okay with being corrected. So if I called you a dude, right, and you were really offended, like, no, that's not my gender, right? That's not what I identify as. I would say, oh my God, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry that I assumed that, and we would move on. Right. And I think there would be some understanding.
But we would the same, Justin.
Yeah, I
mean, what do you? I don't know.
My three tenets on every TikTok live I've ever done. The three things I live by is to be a good human being, to don't a dink, and remember to laugh. If you do those three things, then life's going to be nice. Just being a good human being means if you offend someone, if someone makes it known and says, hey, I'm not really a guy, or I don't identify that way. If I continue to press you and say, no, you're a guy, no, you're blah, 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 blah. And now I'm imposing my will on you.
Right.
Then that's being a dink. And I'm not gonna be a dink. I'm not gonna be an asshole for no reason.
So are you saying that if I'm an identified liberal, you're an identified conservative, are you saying that same person that we may have offended, that they would come down on us differently?
Yes.
Okay, I that might be true.
Yeah.
I don't know, right? Because I don't.
They
Have
would
your
be offended
experience.
by. They would be if and I'll say this: if they saw me and then they saw Justin, they might. I mean, yeah, I wear a lot of patriotic clothing, and we've talked about this before. I think the liberal left is probably the most unpatriotic people on the face of the planet. It's sad that when you drive by a house and you see a flag, you're like, that person respects our country. They're a conservative. That's fucked up because there's people that are, if this is such a shitty country, then why is everybody dying to get in? Okay. My parents died to come here, and my dad waves that American flag proud because he had the opportunity to do that. So it's sad to me, yeah, because if I wear an American flag shirt and I'm not wearing, I don't know, gauges and a rainbow flag, and I don't have eyeliner on, that I'm automatically pegged as, oh my God, this guy's patriotic. He's a conservative. You're a piece of shit. You need to call me he, she, him, her, it, that. And, but then you can probably walk up to him and say that, and they'd be like, oh, no, that's okay, honey. No. Biden 2020, right? Yeah, no, it's okay. So it's a little, that to me is a little cultish.
So yeah, that's certainly not fair.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I could go as far as to say it would be cultish, but it certainly wouldn't be fair, right? If we're being treated differently because we have different political opinions, that's not right.
Yeah, I never come like, so I ran for office back in 2016. I came very close to actually winning against an incumbent. Like 45% of the vote. I was a brand new guy, like break the cycle. This was in Rhode Island. I mean, I learned a lot. But what I learned a lot about going from door to door, I didn't necessarily shy away from going to registered Democrat houses just to introduce myself so they can see me as a human being. And when I talk to someone, I don't come right at them with wedge issues, because wedge issues drive further divide. If I come up to you and say, I'm pro-life, you're pro-choice, I'm right, you're wrong, then we're not getting anywhere. But if you say, hi, my name is Justin, I live down the street, I'm your neighbor, our kids play together, well, there's a commonality. There's something that you can actually get around. And I think more people have more in common than they do not. And we spend too much time focused on what we hate about each other rather than the 60% of stuff that we both laugh at the movie Step Brothers. Some people can't stomach Will Ferrell because it takes a little bit to like Will Ferrell. I guess I love him, but like some people don't like him. It's those things. And I think the media plays a huge role in creating that divide, and it does, and it transcends.
So first, I want to say that's super cool that you did that. Like, that's been something that interests me. Not that I would want to run for office, but that I would want to be more involved in local politics. So I think it's so cool you did that. And Anthony,
yes,
what were we saying? What was I talking to you about?
Running for office, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and you know what? That's your life goes under a little bit more of a microscope. I mean, listen, we talked about, you had talked about a video that I did, and some of my fans and followers went after you in a negative way and threatening your life, right? I had and have similar situations with the other side coming in. And I don't even want to say it on camera, but Matt, I've told you already. Justin knows the things that I get. And again, that goes on both sides. So with that being said, it would be a little scary, I think, to run. But have an edge up because I may be a white privileged man in America, although nothing was ever given to me, but I'm gay. So it kind of gives me an edge up because then people don't really know what to do with me, right? So they want to come at me and then they're like, you're a fucking conservative, you're gay. I'm like, hold on. But I have a liberal thought in the sense of the only thing that I think really makes us different is the fact that I want to protect our Constitution and I'm patriotic and I love this country. And I think that you should marry whoever you want, be whatever color you are. And if you want to be a he, she, him, her, that's fine. I don't care. It does not affect me. It doesn't pay my bills. But I don't agree with the extreme liberal ideology. I don't believe in burning down this country. I don't believe that everything should offend you. I'm kind of off of that. We're all in the same generation. I think that, we were the kids that our moms smoked cigarettes while we sat on their lap. Like, we're the generations where it was like you fell and cracked your head open. Let's go. Let's move. Like, we were tougher. And that's when I said Gen Z about 5-10 minutes ago. Gen Z is from this generation where it's kind of like, you're like, or are you okay? How? Like, you don't know what to do. You're like,
well, yeah, you pay to go to a comedy show, and then you get offended at the comedian that you just paid to go see, and it's like you didn't have to go see him. Like that was you. I used to love George Carlin because he made fun of everybody in the room. It didn't matter, and he didn't put one type of person or color of person or anything on a pedestal, because once you do that, now you've created that victimhood. Like, I loved Carlin.
And he was also totally a liberal.
Oh yeah, but I could appreciate his comedy.
Look at Eddie Murphy. What great comedy! We all remember the great Eddie Murphy and his stand-up. I mean, that was raw, raunchy. He talked about white guys, black guys. I mean, everything, and it was good. It was good shit, But you can't say any of that now.
So I was telling you, actually, Justin, do you want to go?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
No.
So
you're the guest.
So I was telling Anthony off camera that a lot of what's happened, I believe anyways, in society is that for so long the pendulum has been here on so many things. And what's happened is we've swung it over to here. There we go. And what really needs to happen is it needs to be here. And so I do believe that. I believe that like we've made too much of a correction, and that we need to come back towards the middle, and we need to come back towards our commonalities. I think, as you were just talking about, Justin, that we have so much in common, yet we feel so divided.
Right. Well, I mean, you're right. And you talked about a pendulum. And I actually, when I ran for office, I described something similar to that, where it was basically tug of war, right? And you have one side saying that the right answer is 100 miles this way. And then you have the other side saying the right answer is 100 miles that way, when really you just need to drop the rope and walk to the middle. Right. You know what I mean? That's kind of like the same thing. But I see a lot of, and maybe this is just my conservative bias, but like, why does it seem like it's always the conservatives that have to reach across the aisle when they're in the position of power? And anytime the Democrats seem to be in the position of power, they don't extend that same olive branch. And a perfect example is, say, like the filibuster. Say what you will about Mitch McConnell and his turkey neck and all that stuff. But what I'm saying is, he warned the Democrats to not get rid of the filibuster, because if you get rid of the filibuster, you get rid of the minority party's ability to, in a sense, fight back, right? And Democrats are like, nope, we're getting rid of the filibuster. Mitch McConnell said, okay. Well, as soon as the Republicans took power and then the Democrats were screaming for the filibuster back, the Republicans did the adult thing and said, well, we understand that we're not always going to be in a position of power. Let's reinstate the filibuster. And it keeps going back and forth.
What I don't don't agree with about what you're saying is that I've seen the Republicans do incredible obstruction and not reach across the aisle, right? And so I don't think and at the same time, I've seen Democrats do the same. I don't think it's I think both parties right now would do well to reach across the aisle, and neither is doing so.
Well, the Supreme Court justices are. The conservative justices are. You just had. Why is it that like it's always the left-leaning judges? They don't move. They don't move. They're always on the left side of the pendulum. So Chief Justice Roberts is considered an independent in the middle, but he's conservative-leaning. Yep. Amy Coney Barrett, obviously conservative. Gorsuch, conservative. Kavanaugh, conservative. All those people dissented with Texas's decision. It was only Clarence Thomas and Alito.
Well, hang on.
So how come
even Thomas and Alito both said we would hear it, then we would throw it out. We believe it should be heard. So it's like,
but can you Can you name when the Democrats the Democrat justices have ever leaned right on a conservative
maybe
issue?
not. But what I understand is the Supreme Court is not supposed to rule on things due to their politics. They're just not supposed to.
But let's not pretend that they're not human beings, that they don't have preference. So we want them to rule based on the law of the land and the Constitution. But they're human beings.
By the way, the Democrats' entire argument to having Amy Coney Barrett and Brett Kavanaugh in was that they were going to decide on everything right-leaning.
No, right.
They kind of put their foot in their mouth, the entire nation, when this happened, and then they started cheering. They're like, "Fuck yeah, fuck yeah!" Right. And I'm like, "That's funny." Okay.
I think doing her job.
Do that, and they treated her like a complete piece of shit. They said she was going to do her job, and I'm sorry, but Kamala Harris is condescending and she's unprofessional because of the way she speaks to people. And she's
now, hang on, Anthony. If a man spoke to somebody that way, would we be saying the same thing?
Yes, Cory Booker.
No, but hang on. If a man was speaking powerful, though, if a man was speaking powerful and maybe condescending, would we be focusing on it as much as Harris?
Yes, yes. Cory Booker does it.
Yeah, he's
Spartacus.
Does he get as much flack for it? I haven't heard it.
Well, okay. Yeah, he does get flack for it. He does.
Okay.
But now I do agree. I do agree with you though that there is a certain off-put to. I'm not going to say a strong woman because I think like my mother's a strong woman, but I do think that when a woman gets that like. And they get kind of like that high, like I do think that naturally people get turned off by that. And it's not necessarily like we're trying to be bad people and not, you know what I mean? It's just, I think it's inherent in our ability, because say what we will about politics and everything else, but we generally think of women as nurturing and loving and you know what I'm saying? Like
that's what we were socialized to believe.
Right. I don't like that word, but it's okay.
I hear from your shirt, right? You don't want social into anything, Justin.
Well, I mean, true.
Okay, wait, before we get there.
So.
Right. Hang on, but I don't know. Okay, wait, we're going to get there? You're saying?
We might. Probably.
Okay.
I just want to say that if she wants to be a strong woman, fine, that's fine. There's nothing better than to witness strong women. I mean, that is an amazing thing, right? Other countries, it's so weird to me that other countries literally have female prime ministers and leaders, and we're still trying to jump on that bandwagon. That being said, I think that if she's going to be a strong woman, that she shouldn't say that Pence was mansplaining to her the entire time, because that is null and void. You want to be treated like a strong ass woman, then you're going to take it when a fucking man talks to you. Because guess what? When you go to Saudi Arabia and when you go to these other countries that are strong woman and their women are not allowed to do shit in their countries, then you, honey, have to be that strong woman and deal with the fact that I'm talking. Excuse me, I'm speaking. Oh, it makes
I love it. Man.
But you have to then go in there, put your fucking tail between your legs, because they're going to mansplain the shit out of you. And if you want to be a fucking leader, unfortunately, that's what you're going to have to deal with.
So, so your premise here is that mansplaining is just the thing that's going to happen and she needs to deal with it.
No. What I'm saying is if you're going to be a strong woman and you want to make sure that people know that you can
be a strong woman.
Don't come up with an excuse when then it's reversed to you, because now you're using the woman card and you didn't want to use the woman card.
So mansplaining's not a thing that happens.
Mansplaining
shouldn't be.
Wait a minute. So is womansplaining a thing? So she can womansplain.
Hang on. I'm asking you. Do you believe that mansplaining is a thing, that like men have more dominance or have historically had more dominance in society than women?
Historically, yes.
Okay.
In this situation,
historically, sure, but
hold on.
All my supervisors are women.
Though, it doesn't exist because He's a man of power and she's a woman of power. They should be able to explain shit to each other. They're both
true.
dominant.
Yes, got you. Yes, I get that. And in a lot of ways, I agree with you. But can you appreciate that she's operating from a place of maybe feeling like there's been a patriarchy running her life?
But what about all the Republican congresswomen and senators, and why do they not live on that same
I don't know. Yeah, I guess I don't
mentality?
know that they don't.
They just don't, or they don't
You know what
say
I mean?
it. Then they don't.
Right, maybe.
But I don't believe that they just don't say it. That they're like that they feel like all of these Democrat senators are mansplaining to me, and I'm gonna like. No, I just think they rise above it. Like that's just me. Okay. That's just my bias.
I don't know if it's your bias rather than well, I mean, yeah. If bias means opinion, then yeah.
Right. Sure, opinionated bias. How about that?
Yeah, I got you. Which we all have one, by the way.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right. So I know we're talking about social. So you're a Bernie supporter. Is that right?
So
or you supported Bernie?
Yeah. Oh my God. That dude has my heart.
Oh wow.
You hate Hillary. You hate
I'm
Hillary
not a
Clinton.
fan of Hillary Clinton. Never have been. Did not vote for her.
Right.
By the way, Justin.
Why did Bernie roll over? Why did he roll over?
The first time he did. The second time because he realized, as most of us did, you guys are going to hate this, what a danger Donald Trump is to the country.
Yeah, but BLM and Antifa didn't form under Donald Trump's watch. They formed during Obama's presidency.
So
check it out.
Hang on.
So if that divide was happening, it wasn't Donald Trump. Donald Trump wasn't even in the picture.
So now hang on. That's not what I'm saying. That's not even what I would be saying the danger necessarily was. But let's say it's true that it formed.
I'd say they're pretty dangerous, though.
Nah, we might disagree on that, Justin, which is okay.
I'm gonna have to jump in. Antifa.
No, that's fine.
They both
with the fires raging behind them, and like, it's just a little fire, like. All right, just keep going.
You guys realize that there are like police departments in Oregon, in some of these other places, have come out and said, we're not sure that it was BLM or Antifa that did this, that there's actual evidence. Hang on. Oh, look, I like it. That we're actually looking into, and I think some have even concluded that we're talking about white supremacist groups that were going there trying to start a revolution.
Who like the Proud Boys?
I don't think it's just the Proud Boys, but yeah, I think there's a lot of them.
I cannot.
But they're led by a Latino dude.
All
colors are welcome,
white
so it's not like a white supremacist
are the
group.
ones who created a.
All right. Hang on. Let me backtrack. Not white supremacist, far right extremists.
They're the ones who created a chop zone and literally blocked off. What was it?
Are you talking about Seattle? Is that what you mean?
The autonomous zone.
The autonomous zone in Seattle. Yeah. That's what you're talking about. Okay.
So were those white supremacists?
Here's what I'm talking about: is that it was as much far right groups as it was Antifa or BLM. I still don't even know.
No, and voter fraud's not real. Okay, come on.
I'm with my nieces and nephews sitting at a table, and I would hope that you agree with me on that. And Black Lives Matter, Antifa, were walking down the street, came up to my table, took my fucking sandwich, ate it, threw it on the table, and say fucking Black Lives Matter. You're not going to protect your kids.
I don't know if I can swear, but yeah, that would be crappy.
Okay, that's
right. Just so you know. I'm with you. But hang on a second. I need to ask Justin this. Do you know who Bruce Bartum is? Yeah,
Bruce Bartum.
I'm
not familiar. I'm not familiar with that name.
He was the first confirmed case of voter fraud, and it happened in Pennsylvania. And he registered his dead mother to vote. And guess who she voted for? Take a guess. Donald Trump.
What, Donald Trump? Well, it's funny that the media would put that out there.
That Bill Barr would say, there's no evidence here. We don't need to.
I'm sorry.
Oh, but Bill.
What?
Oh, but wait. You used to hate. Come on, you used to hate Bill Barr,
Right,
and all of a sudden he
right.
says something that you agree with. All of a
I
sudden,
saw
Bill
your
Barr is the
TikTok. I
best
knew
thing.
you were going to come with that. No, listen, I don't like Bill Barr. I don't like him, right? I just don't. I think he's an opportunist, a political opportunist. But
Yeah, he's got stock in Dominion voter systems. Yes or no?
I don't know if that's true.
He does. He does. He's got.
See,
stock
this is
in
where
Dominion
we get
voter
the
systems.
QAnon line going on here.
QAnon, Dominion vote. Oh, hold on. Wait. Let's get into this. Dominion voter systems. Back in 2007, go check out the audio of Joe Biden talking about the electronic voting systems and how they're how they're open to manipulation. So how they're open to voter manipulation. And in 2019, you had Amy Klobuchar and Elizabeth Warren specifically named Dominion voter system and the problems that they have with the openness and potential to fraud happening. Where are they now? Where are they now? Check it out. Look it up right now if you want. Look up Amy Klobuchar, Elizabeth Warren speaking out against Dominion voter systems specifically.
The Justice Department that is underneath Donald Trump has done extensive investigation into this election. And what we found,
reported
Trump
by New York Times,
millions of his supporters' dollars, maybe even yours, Justin, maybe even yours, I don't know, to really prove to us that this has been the most secure election we've ever known.
How much money was spent in investigating Donald Trump with the Russian collusion hoax? How much money was spent there?
It's not a hoax.
A lot more. And every single time, how did you feel though? How did you feel every single time that the Steele so every single time they're like, "Oh, we got him. You better listen to what the Steele dossier says. You better listen to what this report says, that report says." And then those reports come out and there's absolutely nothing in them. And then you're like, "Well, we need to do more investigation."
So are you familiar with the Republican-led Senate Intelligence Committee? Excuse me, that they had 5 volumes of research on this. Have you read any of those? Okay, because they actually show that maybe there wasn't like collusion, but there was absolute coordination, and this is from a Republican-led committee.
But why don't you guys?
Okay, so how come the Senate? How come the House didn't impeach this guy? How come the Republicans? The House did. The House did not. The left of the House did. The majority of the House did, and they were Democrats.
Let's not argue semantics.
Name one Republican who impeached him.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. It does matter because listen, no, it does matter because if the Republican Senate committee that you're talking about is, you just threw the name Republican out there. So if the Republican committee says that it happened, then we have to listen to it. But if all of the Democrats in the House impeach Donald Trump and not one Republican does, then it's a valid impeachment. No, I call it partisan hackery.
So the fact
that's what I call it.
One Republican senator did impeach him means.
Oh, you mean the guy that went independent?
No, I mean,
he disowned the Republican Party. You talking about Justin Amash?
Oh yes, he did. He voted.
Mitt Romney's not in the House. The Senate didn't
But if we move to the Senate, right? Not every senator voted to acquit. Right.
Sure.
Right. So I'm saying, like, here's what actually happened.
There's no fallacy there. There's no fallacy there.
Was the House impeached?
If it actually happened, you would have seen more Republicans. You would have seen more Republicans impeach Donald Trump. Yeah. You would have seen him if he really was wrong. If he really did something wrong, why wouldn't you see more of him?
So we're gonna go a little bit. So if you're afraid, if you watch for years, if you watch a narcissist like Donald Trump just publicly eviscerate anyone who speaks out against him, you are going to be very afraid of that man. You're just gonna.
The media doesn't seem afraid of him.
Hang on.
Like every single press conference where they're just totally berating, not listening,
might I
pushing
add,
out their
and we
narrative
don't
and
lift
not
up
listening.
that woman, that press secretary, for how strong of a woman she is for standing up there and defending herself against the media. No, because she's not AOC and she's not all the liberal people. So any woman that's a Republican is a bimbo.
Anthony.
Yes.
Did you find Bruce Bartle?
No, he's not popping up in my search.
So we've got to find him. We just have to.
Well,
because
I'll definitely research him after. I'll look into it.
All right.
Look, I'm the person that's going to go off of logic, like the left's logic. So going off of that logic, why are y'all not pissed off about what's going on with the collusion between Biden and his son with Ukraine? Why aren't you guys pissed about that?
So I know Justin's going to say something.
Kids.
Oh, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything.
Anthony,
Yes.
Bill Barr, your man, Bill Barr, came out today. Not only did he
You
say
guys
there's
are
no
happy
evidence.
about that. No,
Hang on a second. Let me just finish, and you can say what you need to say. He said not only is there no evidence to overturn the election, he said there's no reason for him to appoint a special counsel to investigate Hunter Biden. Bill frickin' Barr said this.
Oh, now he's Bill frickin' Barr to you guys.
He loves it. He's in the Bill Barr cult.
Yes, I am. So if tomorrow,
Bill Barr is a Benedict
literally
Arnold.
wants Biden in fucking jail.
If Kamala came out tomorrow and said Biden sniffs kids,
Well, he does.
would you guys be like, "Oh my God, Kamala, she rocks"?
No, because I think she's a bimbo.
No, what you would think is,
That's anecdotal. That's anecdotal. That doesn't have any place.
No.
That's anecdotal.
You
She
guys
would never
would be
do that. That's
investigating Donald Trump. You would be investigating Don Jr. for the next 6 years.
6 months ago, if I said that about Barr, Justin, you would have said he would never
out and said that if it was
what Bill Barr. I've always been suspect
Don
of that
Jr.
dude.
That happened with
Always.
Hunter Biden, and Bill Barr said, "Oh, there's no evidence against it." You guys would be riding that fucking train again for the next 4 fucking years.
But can I say one thing real quick? Like, so let's just say for a moment that Donald Trump is the supreme leader of QAnon, right? And Bill Barr, and let's say Bill Barr is part of this. Let's say Bill Barr is part of this. Don't you think that maybe he's just trying to keep the left's guard down by saying, yeah, there was no evidence, and maybe he's taking one on the chin, but maybe he's just trying to, make sure you guys are calm and you're not going to suspect anything. And then all of a sudden the hammer is going to drop. And it's going to be like,
you lost me, man. So hang on. Bill Barr is so he's just trying to keep everyone calm before the hammer drops. Is that what you're saying?
Well, he's going home for Christmas because Trump already fired him. So, I mean, he may just be trying to save face.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
He may just be trying to save face, but I don't know, man. I think it's really weird that a lot of your homeboys and girls were the ones going to Epstein Island and Donald Trump never went.
I can't. I just can't.
Well, you can't because he never did.
Have you ever seen the Netflix documentary? What is it? Epstein, something about riches, like Filthy Rich. It chronicles their relaelationship.
Sure. Yeah, and it also. But does it talk about how he separated after? Like he literally cut Theo Epstein. Like not Theo, that's someone else.
Yes.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Wait a minute, Justin. Are you a Red Sox fan? Oh okay.
No.
You mentioned Rhode Island. And you mentioned Epstein.
I'm a Yankees fan.
That's why we have issues.
Are you a Red Sox fan?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You guys.
So hang on a second. We are going down a rabbit hole here. I feel like that we could talk about for hours and hours. Like I could sit here and present you all of the evidence in the world that if anyone was cozy with Epstein, it was Donald Trump.
Man, Bill Clinton was there. The Clintons were there.
Sure, I'm with you. Listen, I'm not.
Yeah, but did any of them separate themselves the way that Donald Trump did? And isn't it odd that Donald Trump is the only one that never went to Epstein Island? Is that not odd to you? If they were so chummy, why were they not hanging out?
I don't know if you know this, but there are
he banned Epstein from coming to Mar-a-Lago.
Who claim that Donald Trump raped them with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, a claim is a claim.
That's fine. That's fine if a claim is a claim. But I don't see that. I don't see anyone saying that Joe Biden was on Epstein Island raping a 13-year-old girl. I don't. You see that, Ant?
Okay, well, how about
I like claims of Biden sexually molesting women, young.
Yeah. So you get so Tara Reid. All right, so let's go real quick. Yes or no? The way that they berated Brett Kavanaugh in front of his family was right or wrong? It's easy, right or wrong.
That's you can't.
Right or wrong?
Give you a black or white answer on that. I'm just not.
Well, it's easy to give. Why not?
Because Kavanaugh.
Because hang on. Here's what you had, right? You had a Republican before that, right? You had a Republican Senate and Congress not allowing a president 9 months before his term ends to do his right, and appoint Gorsuch. And so you had a lot of that pent up anger about that. So yeah, do I think that bled into it? Sure. But I think you can't just look at the isolated Kavanaugh thing and not take into account the Gorsuch thing.
Oh, you mean you're talking about Merrick Garland?
Oh, yes.
So it's not Gorsuch. So you're talking about Merrick Garland. So, but see the difference there was that Obama was at the end of his 2 terms. He was literally lame duck president.
9 months.
But yeah, but it was his last term. Donald Trump still had a chance to be in. So why could he not do that? I'm just saying. I know some people were super hypocritical in what they said and what they did, but I'm just saying it's 2 different scenarios.
Listen. Is there crazy shit on both sides of the aisle? Yes, there is.
Okay, fair enough.
That's what I'm going to say.
I just think that there's crazier shit on the left, and that's just
what's great, Justin, is I feel the total opposite. I get that it's on the left. I do, and I get there's a lot of it on the left, but I see way more of it on the right, and you're the opposite of that, and that's fine.
But what I wanted to point out with the Kavanaugh thing, okay, what I wanted to point out with the Kavanaugh thing was they took the testimony of that one lady, okay, whether she was truthful or not, okay, you had the liberal left Democrats accept her word as truth when Tara Reid stepped out and actually had other credible witnesses, credible ones, not just I don't remember, I'm fuzzy. You had Nancy Pelosi say, well, the New York Times did an investigation and they found that Joe Biden did anything. So I trust the New York Times and I trust Joe. So she took her Me Too. She took her Me Too sign and she put it behind her back and she said, I support Joe Biden. So what happened to the Me Too movement? Why did they not step up for Tara Reid?
She's a woman. Talk about the 22 women that have come out against Donald Trump, or no? Do we really want to go down?
Sure. Let's do it. Matt, you are a rapist, and I'm going to go file motions right now that prove that you're a rapist. Do I have every right to do that? Sure, and I can be prosecuted if found that I'm right. Lying about. But just because people claim or make those claims, and by the way, 9 times out of 10, 99% of them are anonymously done. And I understand that they're like, well, I don't want to put my face out there. But why is it that every time someone from the right wants to come out and they make those accusations, they don't go behind the veil of anonymity? Why is that?
I'm sorry, I'm researching.
Why?
I'm here.
You can say Bruce
it.
Bartum yet?
No, we're talking about this.
I'll show you the article.
Well, I'm going to go on record and say what they did to Brett Kavanaugh was dastardly disgusting in front of his wife and children. And you know what? If he was guilty of those crimes, I would be first in line to want to separate his head from his body. But I actually disagree with the death penalty, so I wouldn't do that. Cool. I would want him to rot in prison. And here's the thing, and this is something that I think we can agree on, right? So like a lot of people, so I'm pro-life, okay? And a lot of Republicans that say they're pro-life are also pro-death penalty, right? So I believe in life from moment of conception all the way through natural death. The humanness of me wants to see retribution and wants to see, say, like a kid diddler. I want to see him get his own, and I want to see him die and perish. But really, my faith dictates that that's not right, and my basis of belief says, and it's actually more of a strain on the system to put someone to death. It's more expensive than to just let him rot away. I think that's far more of a justice than anything. And as human beings, we want to see revenge, but That's just me.
Yeah, no, I hear that.
So here's what I'm going to say. Okay. I think that there is definitely corruption on both sides. I think that what I wanted to come out of this is this, okay? And I want, but at the end of the day, we're all neighbors. We're all working in the same. This is what we've never had this before, and whether we agree or not, which I know that we're not going to agree on a lot. But there was the two things that they said never to talk about. This is back in the day, religion, politics and religion. Well, now it's so in the forefront of everybody's mind that everybody is now a political analyst because everybody's about, everybody wants, because it's so, there's so much going on. But at the end of the day, what I want to say is if more conversations can happen like this, then we might get stuff done. Are you going to change your mind, Matt? No, I know you're not. You said it before. Don't think you guys are going to switch me to Trump. I said that's not our mission. And same with you.
I think if you hang out with us enough, I think that you might.
What's funny about that?
What's
funny about that is
you just haven't had a sip yet
of liberal tears, right? So 2020 was the first election in which I voted for a Democratic candidate. I was telling Ann that.
So there you go.
Right.
And I've always voted Democrat, and then Donald Trump is the first Republican that I voted for. So, and this is what I mean. This is something that's going to happen our entire lives. We might get candidates that are going to be wanting us to flip a little bit, but I mean, at the end of the day, guys, it's like we're still Americans.
Right. We were talking about that, right? The personal connection that we're having right now doesn't happen on social media. Like, it really doesn't. It's not really in real time in this way. And if it was in this way, I really think it disarms people and it makes you think about, okay, this is an actual human being that I'm interacting with right now.
And that's the thing. And so I was in the Navy for 10 years, right? And one of the things that you learn in the military is, and you learn about military history, and you can just look at World War II, look at any of the first, like in the art of war is to dehumanize your enemy, right? So if you dehumanize them, if you make them subhuman, it is easier to kill them, or it is easier to carry out your mission. That's why they called Germans Krauts, and and the British called us Yankees, and there was all these like little. So I think the media in a lot of ways has dehumanized each other and said we're not human, we're an ideology, and I do think that we're at a precipice right now where the divide is so great that there's real vitriol and hate, and it's not just from the extreme left and the extreme right. I think that there is real vitriol and hate from even the people that would call themselves moderate. So not necessarily centrist right down the middle.
I totally agree that's the case. We are more divided.
And anybody who calls for civil war is they don't understand really what it is. They don't understand what it feels like to have hot lead flying over your head intended for you. And that it doesn't happen in some distant land. It doesn't happen somewhere else. It happens in your front yard, and your kids will witness it. It's just not something I would ever wish. And I see people on TikTok. I see young kids are like, when I get my first kill in the Civil War, this is my Fortnite dance. And I'm like,
and it's Gen Z.
That ain't how it works.
Listen, I see it. I see it from both. I do. I see it on TikTok from both sides. And then I see these young conservative and liberal, and they're like, holding up a rainbow flag, and they're like, wait until we get our first Civil War. Like, no, bitch, you're gonna be the first one shot. You have no idea what's gonna happen to you.
That's awful.
They think that they're playing Fortnite or something, and it's like a completely different. It's not gonna be okay. Like we don't want that to happen, and it's just so scary that like you have to explain that you're 10-year-old or be scared, or I don't know.
to anybody who wants to do that, I urge them to like read up on the Rwandan genocide. And many people, it's a shame that people have not. I think one of the books is called Killing Fields, I think. I might be wrong on that. But I mean, you're literally talking about neighbors, in-laws, people that you went to church with that were pitted against each other. And it wasn't some video game. They were hacking each other up with machetes. And these were people that you called friend and neighbor. And if that is what people are pushing for and want because they disagree on who they vote for or who they support, man, I'll stand arm in arm with you and fight them. And I don't care if they voted for Donald Trump or if they voted for Joe Biden. I don't want that. Nobody should want that.
I agree with that.
100%. Right. And I think you have an even more important perspective being a veteran saying that. Like, it feels very powerful, you saying that. And I feel like I want to hear more of that. Like,
yeah, but I don't hang on my whole veteran thing. I mean, it's a reality. It's where I lived. It's what I did. Right. Yeah, but we're still all. I understood that when I was going through boot camp. All right. And I literally gave up all of my freedoms for boot camp. It's a weird, unnatural feeling. Right. And I was going underneath, there was this bridge. Right. And I forget the name. We used to sing Anchors Away as we were going through this like tunnel bridge. Super awesome. It was just, but before you got into that bridge, there were protesters that would stand over the bridge and would spit and yell and scream and I remember thinking to myself, man, I left my wife. I left my kids. I left everything I knew behind to walk through and hear and listen to and be spit on, but understanding that what I was doing was protecting those people's rights to do exactly just that, whether I disagree with it or agree with it. So you don't just fight for one's freedom, you fight for all freedom.
See, and that's powerful. And that's what I want to hear like more of.
But that's good to know.
I think you do hear a lot about that from the very vocal conservative voices across social media and TikTok. And I'm not talking about some of the mainstream ones that you might have heard. I think you need to listen to you should follow like Chantilly. You should follow Conservative Barbie. You should listen to Anthony. You should listen to Topher Grayson. You should listen to.
I'm listening to Anthony.
Well, what Justin's saying is there are a lot of the creators that he's talking about right now have more. You will have more in common with them than you think, because they're not like these extreme. They're us. They're like us. Where we will exchange this banter back and forth. But at the end of the day, we just want what's best for us, our neighbors, our family. We don't want a civil war. We respect our military, we respect our flag, and it comes from a place of I look. I've seen other countries. I tell people all the time that are like extreme liberal. We've stopped talking to some family members that are extremely liberal, and I said, if you go to another country and you think that it's so bad here, okay, just going to Europe or Spain or the Dominican Republic or Costa Rica, and you walk up to a bank and there's literally guys with machine guns and they're like, you need to take this off right now, okay? And you're like, okay, whereas and if you don't, they're like, then you're either done or you take the fucking hat off, or what's your name? And you have to tell them your name. Here, we have that, like, people are privileged here to be like, fuck you, dude. You don't need to know my name. Fuck you, record me, motherfucker. Fuck it. Like, acting like animals. Like, that doesn't roll anywhere else in the fucking world, bro. It doesn't roll anywhere in the Okay.
There's no such thing as sticks and stones.
Yeah, when we were in
jailed
Italy,
for that.
There were military fucking tanks on the streets, and two guys were arguing, just two old drunk guys, and the military's like, "Hey, motherfucker, come here, right here. You got two options: either go home, or I'm gonna fucking break your legs in half. Which one is it?" And they're like, "I'm gonna go home. Thank you." Here, it's like you gotta like. Oh my God, sweetie, honey, baby, boo. No,
So do you want us to be more
No,
like
but
them?
what I'm saying is we need to respect the fact
No.
that we do have that freedom to just like we will get treated with respect, and there's there's bad in all. There's bad in all. I mean, there's shit that's going on that you just can't control. It's going to happen, and you're going to narrow it down. But in the end of the day, this is the best. My point is, it's the best fucking country. If you don't fucking like it, get the fuck out. I swear to God, in a matter of 3 months, you're going to be like, oh my God, I want to go back to the fucking United States, because it ain't fucking greener on the other side.
Well, you're free. I mean, you're free to say whatever it is you want to say, and you're free to show whomever it is that you are, right? Now, if you are an awful, disgusting human being, well, then you're going to have to deal with the consequences of being an awful, disgusting human being. The same way that you have the right to go to work and wear whatever kind of political statement shirt you want. And what I'm saying is you will have to deal with those consequences. Oh, that's a whole different thing. But you will have to deal with the consequence of being fired for not following a specific dress code. And I just said political, but let's say the dress code is you have to wear scrubs. And I'm like, no, screw it. I'm wearing jeans every day. I love the way I look in my jeans. I press my jeans. What I'm saying, wow, look at this guy's jeans. He's got great jeans, like jeans that he wears, but also jeans like in his genome. No, but like so like what I'm saying is if you get fired because you just decided to wear jeans every day to work and you were supposed to wear you have the right to wear the jeans to work, but you also have you can get shit canned for it. Right. I love that I can live like as much as you can be offensive, you have that same ability to not be offended. Just don't wake up and say, how can I be a victim today? How can I use the oppression card today? It's not, it's a mentality that maybe, hey, it's my white privilege, I guess. I've never been able to walk into any store and swipe my white privilege card.
Listen, I just used the gay card. I'm fresh out of white privilege cards. Nobody gave me shit. I had to do it all myself. And I think that we can all agree that that's just something else. It's something.
Yes.
Well, we'll have you. Well, we're definitely going to have you on again. I do want to say that systematic racism does exist. And here's why. Because when I had to check the box on my college admission that I was white and Caucasian, that's systematic racism. There you go. There you go. Me not being gained admittance into the college because other races, whether they had better scores than me or not, I was not selected because of the color of my skin. That is systematic racism. And systematic racism exists exclusively, generally, in democratically led cities. And we will talk about that on another episode of TikToff Conservatives.
You got that. It's your show.
Matt, man, we really, really appreciate you having on. It was fun. You know, we get a little heated, but I don't even think it's heated. I think it's passion. I think we're passionate about what we believe in. I just believe that I just believe that I have a better basis of belief, and that's okay.
Right.
And you have the right to believe that your basis of belief is better. And I love that.
So this has been, it's been incredibly fun. I've really enjoyed it, and I'd love to come back on again, and I'd love to talk about your white privilege.
Yeah, stick around.
Your white privilege.
Mine too.
Your white
Absolutely.
I've never
your white privilege.
Anything.
I've been called a racist. My wife's Puerto Rican. I'm super confused. I've been called racist more than once, and I'm like, are you dripping with white guilt, bro?
Like
you didn't have any guilt.
Oh my God.
I don't have guilt. I don't.
Good. That's good.
He's dripping with it.
I don't have white guilt. Let me say that.
You what?
I don't have white guilt. Obviously, we all have guilt, right? But I don't have white guilt.
Do you identify as black? You have like what? Do you have black guilt? Is that what you're saying? What do you mean you don't have white guilt?
I'm saying there are many versions of guilt, and I said I don't have guilt as a blanket statement. But we.
I think a better word than guilt would be empathy.
I certainly have that. Yes.
great.
Okay.
That's
I
great.
think we all should as humans.
Stick around, Matt. Don't hang up. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll have an exit.
It's been fun.
It was.
This
It
was
was.
productive.
I think it was.
Thanks again, Matt. We appreciate
Right.
you coming on.
Thank
TikTok
you.
conservatives.